This prison was built to be completely inescapable. Surrounded by freezing water, powerful ocean currents, and armed guards watching every single movement. And yet one night, 3 men simply disappeared. No bodies were ever found. No deaths were officially confirmed. And even today, there are no clear answers. More than 60 years later, this remains one of the greatest prison escape mysteries in history. In the middle of San Francisco Bay stands a lonely island, cold, silent, and unforgiving. Its name was Alcatraz, also known as the Rock. This was not a place designed to rehabilitate criminals. It was designed to break them. Although prisoners had been held on this island since the Civil War, everything changed in 1934. America was at war with crime, gangsters ruled the streets, and the government needed a prison capable of holding the most dangerous criminals alive. Alcatraz was reinforced with stronger iron bars, guard towers, and some of the strictest rules ever enforced. Inmates were counted 12 times a day. Every step was monitored. Every mistake was punished. Escape wasn't just unlikely. It was considered impossible. Only the most dangerous criminals were sent here. Al Capone, Machine Gun Kelly, and the infamous Birdman of Alcatraz. Men who had failed every other prison were sent to the Rock. And for years, the system worked perfectly, until 3 inmates decided to challenge the impossible. In January of 1960, a man named Frank Morris arrived at Alcatraz. He was highly intelligent, cold-minded, and obsessed with escape. Morris had already attempted to escape from multiple prisons. Later that same year, John Anglin was transferred to Alcatraz. In early 1961, his brother Clarence Anglin joined him. The 3 men already knew each other from previous prison sentences, and by coincidence, or perhaps fate, their cells were placed right next to one another. That was the moment everything changed. The escape plan began in December 1961. Using old saw blades and a homemade drill built from a broken vacuum cleaner motor, they began working in secret, night after night. They carefully drilled thousands of tiny holes around the air vents inside their cells. Progress was painfully slow, but they never stopped. To hide the damage, they covered the walls with cardboard, towels, and suitcases. Behind those vents was an unguarded utility corridor, a blind spot in the most secure prison in the world. Through that corridor, they climbed into a hidden area above the cell block and built a secret workshop. They took turns standing watch, using a homemade periscope to spot approaching guards. More than 50 stolen raincoats were collected and transformed into life vests. 6 by 14-foot rubber raft. The seams were stitched by hand and sealed using hot steam pipe. Wooden paddles were carved, and even a musical instrument was converted into an air pump. Every detail was carefully planned. Every risk was calculated. The final challenge was getting out of the building itself. The ceiling was nearly 30 feet high. Using exposed pipe, they climbed upward and pried open a ventilation shaft. To avoid suspicion, they replaced the missing bolt with one made entirely of soap. The escape was ready. On the night of June 11th, 1962, the prison went quiet. Lights were turned off and guards began their routine check. Inside, 3 prison beds were human heads, perfectly shaped, painted flesh tone and made with real human hair. They were dummy heads, so convincing that guards walked past without a second glance. One man failed to escape that night, Alan West. His ventilation opening wasn't wide enough, and he was left behind. But Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin moved forward. They entered the corridor, climbed through the shaft, reached the roof, slid down the kitchen smokestack, crossed the fence, and disappeared into the darkness, heading toward the freezing waters of San Francisco Bay. By morning, the prison was in full lockdown. Search teams flooded the island as the FBI, Coast Guard, and prison authorities launched one of the largest manhunts in American history. Fragments of rubber were found floating in the bay. A homemade life vest washed ashore, but no bodies were ever recovered. The official theory was simple. The water was too cold. The currents were too strong. The men must have drowned, but doubts remained. Young swimmers had crossed similar distances before, before. And if the men truly drowned, one question remained unanswered. Where were the bodies? The FBI continued investigating for 17 years. Families were questioned. Records were checked nationwide. Every possible lead was followed. No stolen vehicles were reported. No confirmed sightings ever surfaced. No proof that the men survived, and no proof that they didn't. In 1979, the FBI officially closed the case and handed it over to the U.S. Marshals Service. To this day, the case remains technically open, just in case. So what really happened that night? Did 3 men defeat the most secure prison ever built? Or did the ocean silently claim them forever? We may never know. But one thing is certain, Alcatraz was meant to be unbeatable. Yet on one silent night in 1962, 3 men proved that even the strongest walls can have a weakness.